Hello everyone, welcome. I am Umbras, and today we are back in Gran Turismo 3. It's been a little bit, it's been a full 24 hours and change. It is good to see you all here. I am in the Clio Sport race car, and we are ready to take on the world, or at least the rest of the Clios, in the professional league. So let's do this. Welcome forward, Shelby GT. Hope you have been well. Hope all is good with you. Ooh, it ends at Côte d'Azur as well. Alright. I'm looking forward to this. Bunch of French hot hatches duking it out. I'm hoping they're all at the same level performance. I really do. Oh. Whoopsie daisy. Okay, that's fine. This will be interesting to see. I know those are definitely upgraded. But we got some power of our own. We got the close ratio transmission. So this may be an interesting fight. Does power or grip make the difference for these vehicles? I could have sworn that I would be in a I'd be up against other race cars, but I made that mistake. Whoops. Why don't they use the race cars? The avant-garde race with the Zondas use the Zondas. But here it's like, nah. Here it's like, nah, fam. You race against the heavily modified road cars. Like, come on now. You put in this race car for a reason. Let it actually shine in this race. Oh well, it's whatever. It is what it is. That's way too early in Apex there. Besides, we might legit have an issue with the tire wear here. So we will see if we are able to pull enough of a gap to be able to take our pit stop. 'Cause that'll make things a little bit tricky. That is such a beautiful car, though. I absolutely love the mid-engine Clios, especially the Phase 1. I know the Phase 2's got slightly better aero, more power, and all that stuff, but the Phase 1 is just iconic, with the kind of more rounded headlights and everything, the kind of more narrower headlights. Like, that is nice. Oh, alright, gotta be careful here. Down through the gears. Down through the gears. Very nice and smooth. Yes. Perfect. Okay, yeah, this will do us well. We basically, it is a case of, will our softer tires and better grip allow us to get through and up to the field and far enough away from the field in time for a pit stop around lap 5, if I were to hazard a guess, or will we be will we have some issues? I also wonder just how much this will actually be useful in the mid-engine cup or the mid-engine challenge. It's got decent overall pace, but the Autobacks MRS might be a little bit quicker, I think. Probably. Either way, we're not doing that yet. So we'll be doing the Clio Cup, the Race of the Red Emblem, the GTR, the GTR race, and then the Turbo Challenge. I think that'll be enough races for the night. I think something like that. Yeah, okay, front tires are already starting to go. Front tires are starting to go. Just a little bit. So yeah, after a couple laps they're definitely wearing. And that seems to kind of coincide with the real life Clio race car from the late 90s to early 2000s. Because this, believe it or not, is actually based off of an IRL real life racing machine that was created as a collaboration between Renault Sports and Tom Walkinshaw Racing. It was used to replace the outgoing Renault Spyder Cup. And it was a series of 10 races per season and 2 to 3 hour races per race. Obviously here it's not nearly that long, but it was through from circuits all throughout Europe. Places like Monza, Spa, Aragon, all of that. Aragon, I think it was? One of the Spanish tracks. And it was basically like a support race for like the GT, like the FIA GT1 series, or other kind of European GT or touring car series. It was a support race for, and it was pretty cool. It was basically designed as a inexpensive single driver endurance race, as the vehicles, the turnkey vehicles, only cost around just under $50,000 back then. And the entry fee was only like $600, $700. And it was basically a means for drivers to get their foot in the doors for, the GT endurance racing. And these vehicles, they were designed to basically be an ultimate test of driver skill. Very prone to a little bit of that snap oversteer. Very, very tail happy. And the Michelins on these vehicles wore pretty quickly as well. Usually you'd have about one or two pit stops per race, depending on the track. And drivers would complain about just how quickly the tires would fall off, and you have to be really, really careful with that. Yeah, this is very, very nice. We're going to be pitting at the end of this lap here. Yeah, so halfway through the race, I think, is when we will pit. And these will be like, 12-ish minute races. So this full championship will take us maybe about an hour. They're about an hour. And then we should be able to do either probably both the Turbo Challenge and the GTR race. Hopefully we get some good vehicles out of that. I think we will. I'm pretty sure we will. But holy moly. Yeah, this thing, our tires are definitely fading on it. So we're going to be pitting this lap. We're pitting this lap. Here we go. In. Box. There we go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Give me the give me the pits. But yeah, this thing, it is powered by a 3-liter 24-valve V6, naturally aspirating, producing around 280 horsepower. It's got the 6-speed dog box gearbox. And if you're unfamiliar with how dog box gearboxes work, unlike a traditional manual gearbox, where you have synchronizers and helical gears that gradually and smoothly engage the gears, dog box gearboxes instead have very, very robust, very rigid, very thick teeth that engage the gears. And basically it's how you have the sequential shift, is you just plow through. Instead of needing to find the gears and everything with an H pattern, you just, you push, you clunk the, push forward the downshift, you pull it to upshift, and it rotates a cylinder that basically engages and disengages different gears, which is really, really cool. The benefit of that is you get the lightning fast gear shifts without the need for like the paddle shifter stuff. It's around 50 milliseconds shifts. The downside is it is very, very noisy, and you gotta be very careful because it can be a little bit rough on the engine. You do need to, on the downshifts, you do need to rev match. But on the upshifts, you should be able to flat shift it, which is basically where you shift without lifting on the throttle or engaging the clutch, which is super, super useful. And it gives you that just rapid acceleration for a vehicle that doesn't exactly have a whole lot of power. It's got the 4 piston calipers at the front and the rear, Brembo sourced. Very, very nice. 18-inch multi-spoke rims that are magnesium alloy for reduced unsprung weights and agile handling. 7-liter tank, so it's able to go for about an hour to an hour and a half without needing to refill. It is very, very, very quick for a one-make series racer. The series from 1999 to 03, from 1999 to 2002 used the Phase 1 bodywork styling, but in 2003, the last year it was run, they then swapped to the 2003 model bodywork. Performance differences between the two are pretty much negligible, and to my knowledge, they all competed with each other. But it is cool that, you know, if you do see one with the Phase 2 bodywork, that one probably only competed for a year at most, whereas once the Phase 1 bodywork could have competed for anywhere from 2 to 4 years. It was a very short-lived series, but it was very, very popular as a support race during the late 90s and early 2000s, which is when the Gran Turismo 3 came out, and Gran Turismo 4 as well, really kind of, you know, was popular during that time period. So it is cool that they included this as its own series. Very, very, very awesome there. Alright, nice and smooth here. Oh yeah, also in 2003, the Clio V6 trophy, it rebranded into the Clio Speed Trophy, where you had essentially a multi-class series, where the faster class was the V6 mid-engine Clios, like the one we're driving, and then the slower class was the front-engine 2-liter Clio Cup cars, but it still kept the 2 to 3 hour race formats as well. So that's kind of cool. You get to have a Renault multi-class racing series there for like endurance races as well, which honestly would have been really, really cool to see. Unfortunately, after 2003, due to rising costs as well as safety concerns, the series was discontinued, and the main Renault one-make series became just the Clio Cup, where you had shorter sprint races in the 2-liter Clio Cup car, as opposed to the multi-class or even the single-make mid-engine Clio endurance race, which is a little bit unfortunate. It had a pretty large season purse as well, with over 400,000 euros for the season purse, as well as fairly inexpensive entry fees. Renault was really, you know, putting a lot of backing, as it's not only, you know, put a lot of you know, a spotlight on the performance division and everything, but it also really it really allowed them to you know, develop drivers, and there's some decent alumni of this series that went on to do some pretty decent things afterwards. One notable driver was Felipe Stifferts, son of F1 legend Jo Stifferts. And you had Anthony Beltois, which was the son of Jean-Pierre Beltois. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Which is really, really cool. So you have, you know, the sons of Formula One legends. You had some touring car and GT series drivers that would eventually, you know, make it to the big leagues, that got to 24 Hours Le Mans, as well as, like, you know, the FIA GT1 championships and everything. That was really, really cool. That being said, it wasn't entirely all sunshine and rainbows. In the very first race of the season, the 1999 season, there was a big pileup, and the and sorry, it was at the Harama circuit on April 1999. But unfortunately, there was a big accident at the start, and there was a driver death. Rafael Fortunato was involved in the multi-car pileup on lap 1. Welcome, Blackwing. How am I so much faster than the other cars? I mistakenly thought that the other vehicles would also be the Clio Sport race cars, and so I had won a Clio Sport race car in the previous race we did last night, and so I'm using it in this race. But the Clio race car is a little bit faster than the heavily modified Renault Clio Sport road cars, if just barely. In a straight line here, like, I'm not that much quicker. It's only really when it comes to the turns that we really become much more rapid machine. So that on that front, it is a little bit unfortunate. I was really hoping that the game would decide to, you know, give us some other Clio race cars to race against, because that is the main you know, reason to eventually obtain the Clio Sport race car. Either way, we do need to do the championship, as we are racing towards 100% completion. We are currently at 85% complete. We've gotten all the beginner league, all the amateur league, all the rally league races done, all the license tests complete, at a gold standard as well. So we got all the prize cars there. All the arcade mode time trials and arcade mode races, all of that has been complete. We just needed a couple of professional league championships, as well as 3 more endurance races, which the next time we stream this game on a Sunday, we will be doing another one of the endurance races there. I've not decided which one yet. Maybe the special stage Route 11 all nights. And so with that, we gotta work it out for us. But we are gradually, you know, doing this, getting faster vehicles, winning races, getting a little bit more money in our bank as well. Welcome, Jaden. So apparently a long-lost car was found at the Good Festival of Speed. Some history-savvy officials went to inspect the car. I was like, wait a minute, what the... Oh? I was not I was not aware of this. One sec. My apologies. So what vehicle was found? What was the vehicle that was found? I will also say we are running a softer compound tire than the other Clios behind us are. A GT40. Ooh. Alright, that's actually really cool. I know they did make a few road-going GT40s known as the Mark III, but there was only like 13, 15, something in that range made. They were like super, super rare. Was that one of them? None of the GT40 open tops. Either way, that is super cool. That is very, very cool. Alright, there we go. Down a gear again. Back to the left. Alright, we are making grounds. I think we're making ground. We're probably making ground. Yeah, we are. Nice and smooth through the corners. I absolutely love Grand Valley Speedway though. It is fun in pretty much any like racing car. Even the lower powered race cars. It just feels really good to drive on. Very smooth. A lot of the different turns and everything. Just very, very enjoyable. This is the type of track that I feel like, you know, you could reasonably host like, you know, top level GT racing and even like top level open wheel racing on. It feels like an FIA grade 1 track. Maybe it needs a little bit more runoff at that final turn there. But other than that, like it feels like really, really very, very, very smooth, you know, proper for like these style of racing cars and everything. But yeah, at the end of lap 5 we'll be pitting because our front left is already starting to go a little bit. It is in the yellow, so we will be changing tires there. That will allow the rest of the to catch us up a little bit. I think they'll probably pit around lap 9, something like that. Keep missing the flag football games because the person running it keeps announcing the day less than 24 hours prior to the game. Gee, yeah, that's. I mean, if you want larger, you know, larger field sizes and everything, you gotta announce things a little bit more in advance and everything. Am I streaming on Twitch too? No. I don't multi-stream. I stream exclusively on YouTube. Not that I have any personal problem with Twitch. It's just that, you know, I kind of enjoy having the ability to have the VODs up for, you know, that way if someone wants, you know, watch some of my old streams or whatever, you know, watch some of my old playthroughs and everything, they're more than welcome to, and they have the capability to as well. I've made, you know, the curated playlist of all the different games we've played through and everything. So that is that's why I kind of prefer YouTube over Twitch. I know sometimes people don't come to YouTube as much for like specifically streams and everything, but I still prefer to have the you know, the VODs available and everything like that. Twitch deletes the VODs too soon, in my opinion, and so it's a lot more difficult for like other people to, you know, watch it and everything if they end up missing a stream due to, you know, other personal reasons and stuff. YouTube's better for getting a name out to the too, so I'd have to sub on Twitch. Kind of 50-50. Like YouTube, you know, your stuff gets recommended to people and everything for longer. But with that, like, people don't usually go to YouTube to watch streams as much as compared to Twitch being a dedicated streaming platform. You also don't necessarily have like the raids and everything that allows, you know, you to kind of build like a streaming group per se. So yeah. But yeah, no, it's still fun though. I do genuinely enjoy streaming on YouTube and everything. I like having the, you know, the VODs up and all that stuff. It is kind of cool going back to like my original streams like almost 3 years ago, where it's you know, when I was just first starting out and everything, the different games I played back then, seeing my thoughts on those games versus kind of my thoughts on those games now. It is kind of fun revisiting some of the games as well, doing some of like the specialty challenges Like we had done a challenge run where it was a one car only run of Need for Speed Most Wanted. We had done a SUV only run of Flat Out. We had done a challenge run of Hot Wheels Road Race, where we try to win the hardest championship in every single car in the game. That one was a long one. That one was a bit of a grind, I think. Luckily, I'm still surviving at Schedule 1. Oh, nice! It's gonna be a channel from watching a body of Wonga minute play. I remember that! One of the non-Tokyo Shimmerisa games that Genki had made. Holy cow, I remember the rubber banding AI on that being ridiculous as well. That was still a fun game. Not a whole lot of content to it, but I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it quite a bit, so, you know. I definitely like it. It is a game that I would play again. Although I will say that the mission mode was a little bit difficult. Because with that one, I don't necessarily speak I don't speak Japanese. And I get $100,000. Oh, nice. Look, the other Clio's right about now. I'm thinking, why am I even? Yeah, that's the hardest thing with the professional league races. Is all the opponents are upgraded and everything, but you don't know exactly to the extent they are upgraded. Like I even like checked the wiki and everything, you know, it's like, they might be around this pace, but you don't know. And then it turns out like you know, you drive it and everything, you're like, oh, wow, yeah, that was not nearly as quick as I thought they would be. Still, we're vibing, we're rocking and rolling. Okay, yeah, this race is gonna be a little bit longer. I imagine the Special Stage Route 11 race will also be a little bit longer as well. So, okay, a little bit over an hour for this championship, but I am down for that. I am down for that. So let's duck into the pits here. So we got, well, the first race was Rome. The second race is Grand Valley Speedway. The third race is Special Stage Route 11. The fifth race is Monaco. What is the fourth race? What is the fourth race? I'm trying to remember. Well, yeah, you actually had quite a few notable drivers getting experience in the Clio Cup as well. You had Andrea Bellici, who finished second overall in 1999 and had multiple podiums through the 2000-2001 series. He ended up competing in the Le Mans 24 Hours multiple times from 2004 to 2018, as well as competing in the WEC with Rebellion Racing. Also competing in the 24 Hours Daytona multiple times, the TCR International Series with Seat, the Italian GT Championship, multiple wins in the Italian GT Championship, and he kind of got his footing in the Clio Cup during its heyday, crediting the twitchy nature of the Clio and the chaotic and grueling nature of the races for helping him hone his skills in prototype and sports car racing. You also had Anthony Beltois, who competed in 1999 through 2001 season, who was the son of Formula 1 Grand Prix winner Jean-Pierre Beltois, and he competed afterwards in the French GT Championship, the Le Mans Series GT2 class, as well as in the FIA GT Series. I was quite competitive in many of those series. He mainly stayed in Europe and was in the European GT circuit, unlike Andrea Bellici, who was more international but he still made a good name for himself. You had Philippe Stiffert, I think I'm pronouncing that right, who competed in 2000 to 2002, who afterwards competed in European GT4 racing, also the Le Mans 24 Hours in the GT2 class from 04 to 06. So he had a really, really solid career afterwards as well. The Clio Cup was kind of his breakouts, I guess, racing series, coming from karting. It allowed him to, you know, get more sports car experience there. He even had Bernd Maylander, who was the and currently is the FIA F1 safety car, which is crazy. He had actually completed in the Clio, specifically the German rounds of the Clio V6 trophy. Jack Lafitte's son to get some track in his race. Ooh, nice. What's he doing currently, if I may ask? What's he doing currently? So drivers that came from this series, you had a good amount that got their starts in this series that graduated to other higher levels of GT and prototype racing, which is really, really cool. Like, this had some pretty solid, this is really solid as a driver development program, which is really, really awesome. The European calendar as well from this series exposed them to a lot of the international grids and international tracks early, and help them make connections, as this was a support race for a lot of the GT series that were competing at the time, which is really awesome. Pretty stacked field, not gonna lie. Gotta be a little bit careful here. Like, honestly, I would love to be able to drive this vehicle in like a dedicated sim. It just looks like a really fun vehicle to drive. Lightweight, very pointy, a little bit snappy on the other side. I have that kind of adjusted out a little bit, with the front suspension being a little bit stiffer and the rear being, just a little bit softer. But this is still, you know, an absolute joy to drive. I love this car, man. It's just really fun. Easy through here. Easy through here. Back to the right. There we go. There we go. He's gonna complete in the Canal Grand Prix. Okay, cool. The French, the historic French Grand Prix. Ooh, very cool. Okay, so he's getting into historic racing. All right. What kind of car is he gonna be driving? That's pretty cool, though. I imagine he's still quite young, kind of, you know, mainly doing like a lot of the karts and like junior Formula stuff. So it'd be cool to see how he handles some of the old style cars. Welcome, Petra. Yesterday saw Holden jumping out. Oh, cool. How rare is that from in your neck of the woods? I don't think we ever really got Holden here, with the exception of some of like the rebadged GM vehicles, like the Chevy SS, Pontiac G8, and like the modern GTO, which are all kind of based off of Holden vehicles. We never got any like, I don't think we ever got any like actual Holdens here. I don't think so. Probably not. They're extremely rare. Ooh. Very awesome, man. I'm glad you got to see that. That's really cool. Now the Gemini, that was the kind of front-wheel drive compact car, right? Or some of our Kim Jong. Yeah. Me driving the Footwear Cafe. Ooh. Okay. All right. That's the luck to him. That's the luck to him. I don't. But that sounds like a fun vehicle. Sounds like a fun vehicle to drive. So that's what. FA14. Which one was the FA14? What season was the FA14? I'm trying to remember. Oh, I should know this. I don't, but I should. Oop, alright, a little bit of understeer there. Yeah, the Grand Valley is very brutal on your tires as well, so you gotta be a little bit careful. 93, okay, so early 90s. Oh, the 70s Euro drivers. Okay, so earlier Gemini. I was thinking of like the 90s ones where they tried to compete in touring car racing with the Isuzu Gemini, and it wasn't exactly that quick, unfortunately. This is fun though. I absolutely love this car. This track, it feels really good. It's kind of almost feels like a German Grand Prix circuit. You know, very, you know, kind of hilly, very flowing corners, very kind of precise for like a lot of the turns and everything. This legit feels like it could be like, you know, somewhere in Germany probably. Maybe. I don't quite recognize the trees, so maybe some like tree expert could be like, no, that's not, those trees aren't native to Germany at all. This would be, you know, somewhere like the Mediterranean or something like that. This track has a very European feel for sure. Does the Isuzu Gemini ever sold in the States? That's a good question. If it was, I have personally never seen one on the road. I'll have to look that up after this race. I'm gonna do that after this race. I'm gonna look that up after this race. These trees look Polish at chat. I mean, okay, legitimately though, like you can kind of tell, like, you know, where you are, based on like the foliage and everything, what kind of like native wildlife you're seeing and all that stuff. But to me, the track layout and flow feels kind of Germanish. You know, with the crazy, you know, for the time safety features, the massive pit building and everything. There we go. Alright, let me look this up actually. Okay, so it was technically sold in the States, but it was sold as a Geo Spectrum. So yeah, during the second generation, from 1985 to 1990, it was sold as the Chevrolet and Geo Spectrum, and then it was also sold as the Isuzu I-Mark. So yes, it was sold in the States, but not as a Gemini. That's why I didn't recognize the name as being sold in the States. So okay, yes, you have some level of Mention against a GeoGuessr player, they get stumped, they ask you how you did, and you're like, the track layout looks German. Okay, to be fair though, like certain tracks, like especially like as you play like a set of Corsa Competizione and everything, or like other racing sims, tracks just kind of have like a feel to them, you know? Like with the exception of Silverstone being very, very flat. Like a lot of the British tracks are very, you know, compact, claustrophobic, very narrow. You know, feels very like old school type of track. Where it's, you know, going with the flow of the land. You got very kind of awkward bumps and everything. very, very tight, very small pit lane, very bare bones amenities and everything. Because the British, you know, they don't really, you know, kind of give a shit about, you know, the making everything look like a spectacle. They just realize that, you know, we're here in the middle of nowhere, UK, for a race on this random strip of tarmac that was created either out of an old RAF base or some farmer, Reginald McFarmer man decided he wanted to create a racetrack, and that is what we did. And so, like, and you see, like, a lot of the tracks are like that, you know, Brands Hatch, Snetterton, Donington Park, you know, all of those tracks, they all kind of like have that look. Welcome, JB, hope you're well. The Italian tracks, they're very, very high speed with a lot of like really awkward kind of like pink corners and everything like that. You know, they feel like a kind of a mixture of like trying to hold on to heritage while still maintaining safety as much as possible. And you see that with like Monza with all like the added chicanes and everything. Same with Imola, where it feels kind of like a semi-old school track. It's been like modernized as much as possible while keeping its character. Misano as well has kind of like that awkward, like especially turns 4, 5, and 6, the right, left chicane, where it's just very kind of awkward and like fiddly, and it feels very, you know, Italian. Playing physically fighting game, those people wasn't big fucking stick. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a reason why the spear was, you know, was used for so long in warfare. But you go to like the Spanish tracks, and like the like hyper modern, they also kind of feel like at the very last sector they kind of gave up with creating all the braking markers. Like the first 2 sectors, you got like very clear, very distinct, you know, braking markers, and then like the 3rd sector, it kind of feels kind of phoned in almost. You see that as well with both Barcelona and Valencia in the Circuit Competizione. The first 2 sectors, you got very clear, very distinct braking points, and then the final one, they're kind of like, good enough. We don't. They've probably figured out the track by now. By the way, what is my favorite burger? What is my favorite burger? Ooh. Beef patty, grilled, with pepper jack cheese, jalapenos, caramelized onions, chipotle sauce, lettuce and tomato on it. On Texas toast. I call it the Southwest burger. It is really good. That is probably my favorite burger. It's gotta be like the Texas toast, like toasted Texas toast works because it absorbs the chipotle sauce and everything, and it's a little bit easy to eat as well. It makes it a little bit less of a mess, which I like. It just works. I like also using a little bit of like the caramel whiskey, some brown sugar, and some other seasoning, and making a glaze for the burgers for when they cook as well, and that, you know, adds a little bit of the extra flavor as well, and it is really nice. Little, I mean, yeah, stick, but like, there's a reason long reach, simple weapon, you know, has dominated warfare for a long time. What car am I driving now? The car I'm driving now is the Renault Clio V6 race car. It's a real life race car that was used in a one make series from 1999 to 2003. It's got a 280 horsepower V6 in the back. So yeah. It's an idea. Someone asked to wait it for a burger with everything on it. That takes a burger to the South Pole and place it. Oi! That's. Well, yeah. This is a Clio that appeared in Infamous 1. Kind of. It's the same generation of Clio, but this is the race car version of that. It was developed by Tom Walkinshaw Racing, the same people that helped create the Jaguar XJ220 as well as the XJ15 road cars. They helped create this as well, and it is a beautiful machine. It competed in as a feeder series and a support race for a lot of European GT races during the early 2000s, with races being around 2 to 3 hours long, single driver, 1 to 2 pit stops per race. Very, very nice. Yeah, mid-engine hatchback, like the Peugeot 205 T16. Or the Renault 5 Turbo. The French just love their mid-engine hot hatches, and to be honest, I don't blame them. This is basically taking everything about a hot hatch and then turning it on its head just for the funsies. It's a Clio V6. It was rear-wheel drive only. The four-wheel drive added too much weight. Whoa, okay. Random bit of input delay. But the car that had this one set the wheels powered down as promised. Yeah, the Jaguar XJ220. That was quite quick for, you know, what became of it. It's a bit of a shame that the XJ220 is kind of like the awkward child. Did Walkinshaw Racing not develop the Holden Commodore race car? I'm not sure. They developed a lot of race cars during the 90s. So I'm not sure. I thought it was the one that took Extreme Racer 4 drive. I don't think it is. I think they're all mid-engine rear-wheel drive. Because every time I drive them, they're a little bit twitchy on throttle, which is kind of typical for the rear-wheel drive cars of that game. I'm like 90% sure they're rear-wheel drive mid-engine. I see it says four-wheel drive. That's strange. That might just be an error then. It certainly didn't drive like a four-wheel drive car, that's for sure. Either way though, but yeah, this is an absolute driver's car, prone to kind of the snap oversteer, a little bit of the twitchiness. It did wear the tires out quite quickly as well, so drivers did need to take care of the vehicle, especially with all the vehicles being hand-tuned by Renault to be equal. Also, late stage car for that run is the nice. Yeah, that'll probably get you some decent performance. Do be careful in the rally stage though. The NSX doesn't really like off-road, so be careful with Hokkaido. I mainly like running the Oh wait, you're doing the. Which Tokyo Extreme race are you doing? I say if the kit for this one is way better than the 2's kit. Yeah, unfortunately, some of the kits are very hit or miss for the Tokyo Extreme Racer Drift series. Because there's only one, you only really get the option of whether or not to have it. Kit about. Okay, so the very first one. Okay, so you'll be fine then. No off-roading needed. Yeah, you'll be fine with that. Yeah, this is. Okay, so this is gonna be a little bit longer of a championship then. That's fine. The second game actually, I think. second game. Kato Racer. Either way, but yeah, this thing, it had a lot of drivers that eventually would compete in a lot of European and international GT series. They got their sports car racing starts in the Clio Cup, the Clio Trophy, and even the current F1 safety car driver had competed in quite a few of the German rounds of the championship. So one before they're at a rally. Kato Racer. Okay, yes. And so it should still be mostly fine there. It should still mostly be fine, I think. Alrighty. Come on, full send. We got fresh tires. And it takes a little medica. Yeah, you only gotta really watch out for like the icy and wet conditions. But outside of that, it's very, very quick. It makes some really solid power. Downside is you can't put a turbo on it, which is a little bit of an unfortunate circumstance. But its lightweight nature and balanced chassis do more than make up for that there. I wonder what the next race is. If this is round 3, I know round 5 is Monaco, or Côte d'Azur in this game. So what is round 4? I gotta look up what round 4 is. I say that, we just gotta complete the race and we'll figure out what round 4 is. Hopefully it'll be a slightly shorter track. They gave us literally 2 of the longest tracks in this game for this championship. They gave us Grand Valley and Special Stage Route 11, which, granted, to be fair, are both really fun tracks. But yeah, they do take a little bit longer to race on. I think he's pushing 600 horsepower. Yeah, I think that's what my Evo was approaching close to the end of it all. It was like 577. Was like the end game horsepower. You unlock brakes surprisingly late in that game as well. Bit unfortunate. But it is what it is. I really wish you would unlock brakes earlier in that one, because level 2 brakes just do not cut it. You end up with lots of brake fade, and you struggle quite a bit. Through the chicane, the yeet chicane. Welcome, Anime Girl with a Gun. Which racing game should I introduce my 7-year-old nephew? Ooh, that is a good question. Alright. Firstly, does your 7-year-old nephew already like racing? Secondly, are you looking for something modern, or are you looking for something kind of more classic? And third, what options for console do you have? That'll really depend. That'll really change what games I would recommend. Did the N2s have pop-ups? I'm not entirely sure. I could have sworn like the change of chassis came with the change in the facelift, but I might be wrong on that. Yes, he does like racing since he likes Rexy from IMSA. He's got a PS5 in the meantime. Okay. So, only having a PS5 does kind of limit what kind of games he has access to. You're basically limited to the PS4 and the PS5 library. Ooh. I mean, okay, Gran Turismo 7 isn't a bad game. You get a lot of cool vehicles, you get a lot of access to rich motorsport history, and honestly, it is a genuinely very solid game if you want to learn how to, like, drive and race and everything like that. It is kind of like the introduction to, like, simulator racing type of stuff. Genuinely a solid option, and honestly, Gran Turismo 7 is probably the most accessible of the Gran Turismos, I'd say. You might not like how linear the early game is, but it is still a fairly enjoyable experience. Cars handle well, they sound great, they look great, you got a lot of track variety. All in all, it's not a bad first, like, racing game. I believe, can someone in chat, can you double check for me while I'm racing? Has Forza Horizon 5 come out on the PS5 yet? I know they were planning on it. Has that already happened? If it has, I would probably recommend that one as well, as that one is more casual. It has? Okay, thank you, JB, appreciate that. Okay, so yeah, I would recommend that one as well, as that one is a much more kind of casual, but still family-friendly, open-world racing game with a massive, absolutely massive road car list, where you can, you know, kind of progress at your own pace, gradually, you know, turning off assist, getting, you know, more and more comfortable with your vehicles and everything like that. Yeah, Forza Horizon, okay, yeah, so that one I would recommend as well as a good, like, starter game. Okay, yeah, Mexico is kind of like a bit drier compared to, like, other maps, but, like, for a first racing game though, like, you won't have as much to compare it to. So he'd probably enjoy it a decent amount, I think. Plus also with the progression system being pretty rapid and everything like that, you know, he won't be hurting for, like, vehicles to drive or things to do. So that one would be a solid recommendation as well. For the Need for Speed franchise, that one's a little bit trickier just because those are rated T for teen, and 7 is a little bit on the younger side for what I consider, acceptable for, you know, age range for that. But maybe in a couple years, maybe see if he'd enjoy something like Need for Speed Heat. That's probably the best of the modern Need for Speeds in terms of single-player content and everything. I know you might be saying, well, what about Unbound? Unbound doesn't have the replayability of Heat. The weak system in Unbound, I really don't particularly like, and it makes it feel like the progression each time you play through is very samey. Whereas Heat feels a little bit more open-ended in how you can progress and what vehicles you buy and upgrade and everything. And again, you can kind of take that at your own pace as well. So I feel like Heat is probably the best of the modern Need for Speeds. You playing GTA today? Okay, fair. I get that some people, like myself included, I played San Andreas when I was like 10. Like, it was, you know. So yeah, I'm not gonna pretend I didn't. I'm not gonna pretend I didn't do that. Ooh, Automotive. Okay, Automotive. So the good. Genuinely, it has a very unique and genuinely very beautiful art style. You got a very solid JDM style car roster. It is very kind of pick up and play for the most part. It's got massive amounts of personality. It was one of the very first games I had streamed on this channel, actually, because I genuinely enjoy it a lot. And again, you can kind of progress through it at your own pace with whatever vehicle you want. There's no like money system or anything like that, so you can't really soft lock. Why'd I go to the pits? It's the final lap. Okay, that was silly of me. The downside, it is very short. Your semi-skilled players could probably beat Automotive within probably about 4 to 5 hours. Your brother could probably beat it in 6, even as a brand new player. Let's not forget Blur. Ooh, Blur is a solid one as well. Blur is a decent one. Although I will say Blur, for someone that's just getting into racing games, Blur is challenging. It is a good game, but it is also a fairly challenging game, especially for someone that may not necessarily be like that's someone that's brand new into racing games. It's got a higher skill floor, I think. But it's not bad. That's not a bad option. What are some other games on the PS Classics collection for the PlayStation 5? We'll walk through the list, and I can give kind of like my rough recommendation and everything. But you already have a couple of solid recommendations right there. With Forza Horizon 5, Gran Turismo 7, Need for Speed Heat is a really good one. And I'm not the biggest fan of Payback, JB. The locked progression and the speed cards really kind of ruin it for me. The performance cards. Feels like a little bit of a grind. First proper race game was NASCAR 08. Remember Airborne Blasting while absolutely ruining Jeff Gordon's car? Yes. I think my first NASCAR game was NASCAR 04 or 05. One of those two. It may have been 05. I got them pretty close to each other. Whichever one had the Dodge Viper in it. So I remember starting a game, you had to do like a street race in a Dodge Viper before we can actually like begin like racing the stock cars. What's that, 05? I think that might have been 05. What are some other options? Yeah, the gacha system sucks, but I'm pretty sure there's some. Yeah, if you're on PC, you have the Unite mod and everything like that, but you know, we're talking the PS5 version. 05 is yours. Oh god, I am old. I am old! I was born almost a decade before you. That is terrifying. That is terrifying. I can feel my skin wrinkling, my hair falling out and graying. 30 is very rapidly approaching me. Feel the wrinkles. Tokyo Street Racer 0 is a PS Club? Yes! Okay! Highly recommend that one. 100%. It's got a learning curve, but genuinely, holy moly, that game is fun. Deadass? Yeah, Deadass, I recommend Tokyo Extreme Racer 0. Highly recommend that if you can for the PlayStation. That is up there. Holy moly. Highly recommend starting with the Evo 3 in the A class though. Makes your starting campaign a lot easier. Or the S13 Sylvia in the B class. It's cheap and you can upgrade it right out of the gate and get good performance. Although that'll take you a lot less further in the career than the Evo. So you gotta pick and choose there. Both are solid options for the starts. Definitely mainly get turbo vehicles instead of naturally aspirated vehicles in that game because you can increase the boost. Only naturally aspirated vehicle I'd really recommend is the Viper. Not just because it's one of the few vehicles that can reliably hit the 250 mile an hour top speed once fully upgraded. But yeah, Tokyo Extreme Racer Zero is that one is iconic. Are the Midnight Club games on the store? I thought they were, but I might be wrong. But yeah, if the Midnight Club games are on the store, I would highly recommend them. They are ball-bustingly hard, but they are also really fun too. You beat a game with a cappuccino. Yeah. Sadly, those aren't. Oh, rip. I know they were available for the PS3 for digital download, but I guess they didn't include that for PS5. What other racing games were on the PS Classics? That's. I gotta run down the list. Holy cow! Okay, this is much quicker. This is a much more rapid event. We're not doing 2-minute lap times, we're doing like minute 20s. I wonder if any of the old Gran Turismos are in PS Classic. If so, I'd highly recommend those too. Just because they got a charming simplicity to them. Mickey Mouse Racing? I don't know nearly enough about that one to give a recommendation on that or not. What up? Oh, Wreckfest. Genuinely Wreckfest. It's very different style racing, off-road kind of demolition style racing, but genuinely Wreckfest. 100% Wreckfest. That one, definitely highly recommends. Especially on PS5, because you have the updated sound fidelity over even the PC version, and you have the haptic feedback on the triggers. So you can literally feel, when, you're right at the threshold of the braking and everything, going into a corner. You can feel like when you get some resistance on the throttle with the engine damage. All of that stuff. You get the sounds going through the controller as well as the TV and everything. Yes, okay, Wreckfest 100%. Wreckfest, definitely. That one. That one I definitely recommend. I gotta pit this lap. My front right is dying. In we go. Into the pits. Very, very short pit lane. And out of the pits. There we go. What else? What else? What other options are there? Like, this is what that one flat should have been, even the Wreckfest is technically that flat out game. Yeah, I mean, after Flat Out 2 and Ultimate Carnage, you got different developers that were working on it. And Team 6... Team 6 really did a number on Flat Out 3. Flat Out 4 was okay-ish. It wasn't quite as good as Flat Out 1 or 2, but it was okay. It was one of those games where it was like, it was so okay, it was kind of average. But Flat Out 1 and 2, and Ultimate Carnage. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Those... Yeah. Those are the ones. Is Motorsume available on the PS5? If so, also yes. Well, I'm trying to remember. That one I think is also rated T. But I mean, that one's kind of a more mild T. Like, you don't have like any like I don't think there's any swearing. If there is, it's like in like the song, like some of like the song lyrics or whatever. But like, you know, it's mainly like your vehicle explodes. I forget Team 6 made the Flat Out Wii game before Flat Out 3. I didn't know that. Did they really? How well was the Flat Out Wii game received? Oh gosh, Flat Out with motion controls. Ugh. Motion controls do not work well with racing games. I had a PS2, all I had was a demo and I played the island chicken over and over. I gotta look up, I'm gonna look up after this race what other PS Classic racing games are available on the PS5. But Wii's still terrible. Okay, yeah, so the Team 6 didn't even redeem themselves with Flat Out Wii. Bruh. Hey, Pecco. Hey, Pecco. I can't believe Tokyo Shimosu Zero is available. Did the person still here? Fair. Still. Either way, they might just be taking notes, whatever, or just vibing. Either way, I already put out a decent amount of recommendations. There's some good options out there, I think. Through the corner. Oh, a little bit spicy. Little bit spicy. One more lap, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make it a good one. There we go. Boop. Nice. Very smooth. Very smooth through the corners. BeamNG updating the tires soon and... Ooh. Sounds like fun. Hopefully they get it right. Last time I played BeamNG, anything over around 100 miles an hour, the cars have to stop feeling like cars and just kind of feel like they're floating. Doesn't like from like regular like road driving and stuff, BeamNG feels pretty good, but like anything faster than that, and it just kind of falls apart. Like I tried to do a NASCAR league or like modded BeamNG, and it didn't work. So last time I played, earlier this year. Earlier this year was the last time I played. BeamNG is really good for rally. True, but for like with rally stuff, you're very rarely above like, you know, 100 miles an hour and everything. Like you know, you kind of at like the highway speed or less, so the tires still like feel like tires and everything, which is probably why rally feels so good. But like the well, even outside of that, like I've done it in other, like I've you know driven fast in other vehicles, and like above 100 miles an hour, it just they don't particularly feel pleasant. Like I've done like lower speed rallies and like rock crawling, and it feels good there. Like genuinely, like rock crawling in BeamNG feels really like realistic and everything. But like anything above like 100 miles an hour, even in like the base in-game vehicles, the physics feel like they kind of start to fall apart. Like you use like the drag vehicles and everything. And even on like dedicated like, you know, sections where it's, you know, completely straight, it just feels very strange. Like it launches properly like a drag car, but then like once it gets going and everything, it's just very weird. Yeah, maybe. It's just I've never really found any particular vehicle that feels pleasant to drive above 100 miles an hour in BeamNG yet. Granted, like I said, last time I played this game was earlier this year, like, you know, February, March. So they could have changed it in that time period, but you know. It is a good driving sim, it is a good crash sim, it is a good off-road sim. But I don't particularly like it as a full-on like racing sim. But that could just be my opinion. That could legit be just my opinion. Oh, okay, a little bit of a wall tap there. Alright, we got a 15 lap race here. It's an update a few times since getting the updated suspension geometry. Okay, so yeah, probably a little bit better then. I don't know, I might need to revisit it at some point. And just between like the actual like sim racing leagues I've been in and everything, I just haven't had the time to like, you know, do that type of stuff. Yeah, that's probably part of it. Like I said, like the lower speed stuff, it feels pretty good. But once you get to the higher speed stuff, it kind of feels like the cars are more like floating rather than actually in connection with the road. But to be fair, I don't think BeamNG was really designed necessarily to be a racing sim per se. It was kind of more so to be like a crash defamation sim, or like a soft body off-roading sim and stuff. I feel like that's what it is best for and best like used for. Yeah, I can imagine it'd be laggy because you're adding a lot more for either the CPU or the GPU to calculate. Like there's a reason a lot of like the modern sims use, you know, are hard on your computers despite not necessarily having like the best graphics. That's just because and that was, you know, That's just because, you know, they're doing, you know, thousands of calculations a second on the tire geometry, the suspension geometry, and everything. Actually, maybe there's a demo for what sim racing could be. If so, that didn't really do its job well for, like, being a sim racer. I have not really particularly found racing at high speed to be pleasant in BeamNG. Like, other stuff, yeah, genuinely really cool. But sim racing, it doesn't. As someone who has done IRL racing and has quite a few years of sim racing under his belt as well, BeamNG just doesn't feel good for actual, like, racing. It feels great for, like, rock climbing, and also, like, you know, like slow speed stuff. It feels pretty good there. Like, if you want, like, a drive around town kind of, like, simulator, it really kind of feels what it's like to, like, you know, own and operate, like, different types of vehicles. Genuinely, BeamNG is really good in that regard. And that's not, like, being damned by faint praise. Like, that is, you have a legit market for that and everything. But, like, actual racing, it's... I have not particularly found it pleasant. And that's, you know, controller, wheel and pedals, all of that stuff is kind of, eh. Not for me. Like, the physics definitely, with, like, grip at high speeds feel just very broken. But who knows, maybe with the tire physics and everything getting added or being updated, that might fix it. I mean, yeah, it's probably capable of a lot, but, like, that's kind of what, like, if you go into, like, a lot of, like, even the Steam page and everything, a lot of, like, the screenshots and everything like that are kind of, you know, been detailing, you know, what that type of stuff is there. You know, you see it's really, like, our main focus is, like, the soft body deformation and all of that. It took them forever to add, like, scenarios and even longer to add, like, career mode type of stuff. So for the longest time, you know, it was kind of the funny crash game. I see it as a bit more than that. Like I said, it is genuinely great for, like, off-roading simulation. And, like, slower speed kind of racing, but, like, much lower speed. It's pretty alright. Like, one league I was in did a one-off Demolition Derby series with the Demolition Derby cars in the game, where we were racing on a figure 8 track where the speed was, like, you know, like 40 to 60 miles an hour and everything. And, like, that actually was pretty enjoyable. But, like, actual, like, racing, it's not particularly good at. Yeah, but I mean, to be fair though, it took, you know, what, 13 years? 13 years to get to .37. Like, at that stage, that is, you know, could probably be, you know, get a little bit more developed. Probably. Yeah, kind of, but even with the road cars, again, like above 100 miles an hour, it's like nothing feels good. Everything literally just feels like it's floating. Alright, around the corners. Probably be pitting at the end of lap 8. Yeah, and end of lap 8 we'll be pitting. This is probably going to be around a little over a 20-minute, race. Oh gosh, okay, so we may only go to do the Clio Cup. Anyway, we need a little bit more. Hopefully our tires can last through lap 8. We should be fine. We got 2 more laps, and they're only in the yellow. Only in the yellow. Yeah, like I said, anything that has to do with like going fat, like particularly quick, the physics just do not handle. They got Pit My Ride, they get no. Gosh, of all the games to make the PS Classic, Pit My Ride the game? No, that's horrible. That is genuinely, that is disgusting. That is genuinely disgusting. Oh, bro. This is genuinely broke. Yeah, I could probably imagine. Honestly, they really want to start kind of like, you know, working on getting people like hyped up and getting more support and everything. Way to do that would make it would be to turn the game into like a demolition, like a demolition simulator racer. Because for that, the speeds will always be low. You get to really showcase your soft body physics. But instead of, you know, most demolition races being more on the arcadey side, having this have like actual vehicle system damage would be really, really cool. Like that would honestly be the way to go with like the you know, the amount of people that are actually working on BeamNG to get a realistic finished product within like an actual human lifetime. That would probably be the way to do it, I think. Change the scope to where they can make the most of the soft body deformation physics, minimize their weak points, and maximize their strengths. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they got the scope creep where they're like, oh, we can do everything. It'll take us multiple lifetimes to do everything, but we can do everything. It's ambitious. I admire them for that, but at this rate, I'm gonna probably be retired before they reach a 1.0 version. I'm gonna pass the later. Well, that's good at least. The downside is you already have a decent amount of people that would have bought it that have bought it. So you're gonna then eventually like run out of money. It's not like they're releasing it this stuff as DLC. That's the other issue, is the economics of it. That's why I think if they wanted to like really start it out, they should have started out as like a sim racer but demolition racer, because the speeds would be low. The vehicle deformation would be like the main draw. The system damage would be the main draw. And you could genuinely focus on tweaking and updating that. And, you know, using that as a baseline to create what you want later on. As like a later game or what have you, off of that initial physics engine. I think that would probably be the way to do it. Got Burnout Paradise and Revenge. Definitely yes on Revenge. Revenge is probably one of the better of the Burnout games. It's still not quite up there with 3 in my opinion. 3 is my personal favorite, but Revenge is a close second. Paradise isn't bad either. I don't mind Paradise, but Revenge of the 2 is the better one, I think. Revenge feels, you know, a lot more dedicated towards just the chaos and everything of Burnouts. Yeah, but with that, though, you gotta realize, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. Where it just kind of... It basically just kind of turns into a sandbox and everything. I don't know, just with the current strengths and weaknesses of the game, to get a full release, it would probably have been best as like a Demolition Racer, I think. Like a Demolition Sim Racer. It would have been unique to the market. You could have a dedicated online mode to keep player count high without needing to rely on like mods and everything. You can release more vehicles as like DLC and everything like that. Have like actual like servers and everything, instead of having to rely on multiplayer mods for it. And I feel like that would be better. Better use of like the resources. I mean, yeah, it's I guess, but like, you know, the sandbox still kind of need something to do in them though. I don't know. I feel like they kind of suffer from scope creep and are basically they're gonna probably struggle a lot. Nice and smooth through here. Nice and smooth through here. No issues. I will say racing at Monaco in a Clio Cup car, actually really cool. Didn't ever play Big Mother Truck. I have once or twice. It's It's kind of mid. It's kind of mid. It kind of feels like, I don't know how to describe it. It almost feels kind of like Crazy Taxi, but with big rigs. Alright, take care, JB. Have a great night, alright? Alright, only 5 laps to go for the final race of the championship. And then we'll be tackling probably the turbo. Either the turbo or the GTR race. Well, I gotta be careful with the turbo one though, because turbo one, I might have an issue with the test course race. I might legit run out of gear on that. We will see. We will see. Either way, that'll do us well for the Mina Skyline. And the next time we stream this game next week, next Monday, we'll be doing the GTR races, and then maybe the Midship Cup, or the Midship Challenge, in maybe the Clio again. This could probably do decently in the Clio, in the Midship Challenge. Maybe. Like, it's got more power than the Elise, if just a little bit. It's got actual downforce. I could probably put on those super hard tires for a little bit more tire durability. We got some good options here, I think. Just out of curiosity, Sakura, what is RPM tuning? I have not. I don't think I've played that game. So can you get detail what that one is? There we go. Back to the right. Go nice and smooth through here. This is great though. Absolutely loving this vehicle. Honestly, it handles the Titanical streets of Monaco. Okay, not exactly the best braking there, but it handles the Titanical streets of Monaco very well. And it's kind of cool to see like the touring car and like One Make Series race here. Like, genuinely, TCR racing at Monaco would be absolutely baller. Make it happen. Make it a support race for, like, either Formula E or Formula 1. Please. Having TCRs race here would be super cool. Because it fits, you know, the door-to-door banging style nature of the track. It fits the style racing that the TCRs produce. You get some good battles, good overtakes, and everything. Project Gotham Racing, great racing series. I've not actually played Project Gotham Racing, but I have heard a lot of very good things about it. So I am leaning towards yes. I am leaning towards yes. I have been told good things about it. So that's probably a good sign. Like most other like VTuber friends that have played the game have said that, oh yeah, that game was like their childhood and everything. And they absolutely loved playing those games. So you know what? I'm not gonna. Who am I to deny that? Adachi, welcome. Welcome to the stream, Adachi. Hope you've been well. Right now, we're on the final race of the Clio Cup. Oh, sorry, of the Clio Trophy, and it is a good race. We're in the Clio race car that we won last night. And we are putting a hurting on the field here. Yeah, they are all pitting in. It gives us a clear track for 2 more laps. Yeah, we might have time for like 1 or 2 more races after this. Maybe. Probably 2. So we could probably do 2 of the turbo challenge races, and then finish it up next time we stream this game. Then do the Skyline GTR challenge with again the Minae Skyline, and then the midship challenge. That should be a pretty solid plan, I think. This has been great though. The Clio Trophy race car. Very, very planted, very agile through the corners. Absolutely loving this thing. There we go. Heading through the swimming pool section. You can see just there to the right, ever so slightly, the diving board of the swimming pool. Oh. There we go, there we go. One more lap, ladies and gentlemen. Past the roar of the fans for the final time. At least of this championship. Big push up the hill. Alright, we are good here. We are very, very good here. Down into the hairpins. Past the hotels and casinos. Past the balconies and everything. That's gonna be so cool living in that one building just to the right there. Being able to just sit out on your balcony and just watch like the race cars go by and everything through the hairpin. That'd be some. You get some great photo opportunities there, I think. Look at that as well, the city right on the Mediterranean. I can see why it's so expensive to live here. I can see why it's so expensive to live here. Yeah, go back to the left. Nice and smooth. 2 more corners to go. And then a full-on sprint to the finish line. Flash our lights as we cross the line. Very nice. Nice. And now, the next session. $60,000, not bad. Get a little bit of money here. And then our prize car. She's kicking a kick, yes. We are getting a Beetle Cup car. Okay. Wow, that's, that is certainly a vehicle. That is a vehicle of all time. That was not a vehicle we particularly needed, I will say. So we are now 85.6% complete the game. Don't worry, I'm not ending the stream just yet. We got a little bit more to do. Where is the Mina's? Nismo 400R, that's not a bad one as well. $6 for cheesecake in a can and $5 for American cheesecake snack boxes that are smart. Huh. I'm not sure how big that is, so I will withhold judgment on how much that is that's actually worth. There we go, the professional league. Turbo. Yeah, we're doing a test course race. We should be good here. We should have the power. We should have the fairly stocky ratios. The CTR2 might be a challenge. Sell them usually in jewels at Walmart. Huh. Not that big? Ow. Rip. I am not too sure about this one, chat. I don't know. I don't know. Oh boy. Oh, that's super small. That's super small then. Alright, I need the Supra to pass us. And we need a drafting buddy. So the Supra is gonna be our drafting buddy. The Supra is gonna be a bump buddy. That didn't quite work. That didn't work. Okay. So we need to adjust. We need to adjust our strategy with that. We need to immediately go to the right. We need to immediately go toward the right. Because we have the top speed, I think. We just don't have the... Oh, we have another Mine Sky. Actually, you know what? If we get 2 Mine Skylines, that'll work. Let's try. Thank you. We could probably be with the other Mine Skyline, and that'll be good. Oh, okay. Alright, there's the Supra. Go Supra. We gave the Supra a draft. So now I can use the slingshot off of the Supra. And that should help us get up to the Mine Skyline. Maybe. I'm not so sure about that. Six seconds. That CTR2 is just ridiculous. What's it gonna be at the end of this straight? Okay. We need a race without the CTR2. We need it without the CTR2. That is basically... Okay, CTR2 is basically guaranteed. Perfect. You know what? That's fine. That is fine. I know this is overkill, but YOLO. This is why I don't like the test course per se, because like you get rough performance figures, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's roughly what you want, and then they're like, nah, fam. So this will work. This will be fine. Wait, did it finally not spawn the CTR2? Are you kidding me? Yeah, it didn't spawn the CTR2. Damn it! will say that this is fun. Maxing around like 220 miles an hour. Whee! Okay, we actually gotta be a little bit careful. They're gonna be right up on us. There's a potential for them to be right up on us anyway. Holy moly, though. This thing is legit just screaming. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do something kind of silly. Turbo mode. Just to get to the end of this straights quicker. Because I'm not gonna be just sitting here at full throttle the entire time. That is pain. That is pain. It sounds like the inside, when you go to the front bumper cam, it sounds like it is literally like a warning. Is this 30 FPS? This is 60 FPS. Then I go to turbo mode and it's like, it runs the game a lot faster. Also, welcome to Cheetah 2, I hope you're well. There we get to the end of this straights. Turbo mode, I believe, is 3 times. So instead of it being 18 seconds there, it was only 6 seconds. Helps get rid of some of the time it takes to get through the course. Just because, my word. It's just pain. I know some people just remember that 787 be winning Le Mans, but forget how it struggled the rest of the season. Yeah. Or how it was basically like at the very end of at the very end of Group C as well, when a lot of manufacturers had already pulled out and it was mainly privateers. Still though, it is the first Japanese car to win overall at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, so it does have that honor, even if there's a giant asterisk by the name. It is still, you know, the first to do that. And I mean, you know, the uniqueness of the engine type, the crazy orange and green livery, just how loud it was. It's created a cult following, shall we say. Okay, so the skyline is keeping pace with us. I'm a little bit concerned about that. I am moderately concerned. Basically, the entirety of our gap to them was in the acceleration. That is scary. Alright. Speed! There we go. End of the straights. Back to the turret. I don't want to turbo into turn, because I want to try to conserve my tires as much as possible. You do lose a little bit of speed when your tires get worn out and your car gets a little bit sluggish. But I'm gonna go all the way until they are red. We should be fine, I think. They rebooted Highlander? Freedom! Wait, wrong Highlander. Or is it the right Highlander? The speed! Alright, we have gained a little bit of time now. We're now 5 seconds ahead. We're now 5 seconds ahead of the R34. It is literally keeping up with a Group C machine on the straights. That is terrifying. That is genuinely terrifying. Alright, here we go. Nice and smooth. Actually, I wonder if I can run the full race on turbo mode. Okay, yeah, the car is stable enough. The car is stable enough. Full race on turbo mode, let's go. What is normally a 20-minute race will probably be around like 8. I am down for that. Holy cow. Okay, gotta be a little bit careful though. Because the car will probably start to try to want to kill me a little bit once I get into like the orange and red tire wear. But I'm gonna try to minimize that as best as I can at turbo mode. I know, gosh. I don't think there's too many more races on the test course. I don't think there is, anyway. I know that the Formula Gran Turismo is here. Because of course it is. And I think either the Gran Turismo All-Stars, the Dream Car Championship, or the Gran Turismo World Championship go here as well. One or more of those 3 go here, but I don't think anything else does. Hope not. I need for Speed 2 movie before it's a throwing punch. Yeah, it's been a while since the first Need for Speed movie came out. It was kind of fun. Honestly, they did a pretty good job of making the hero car as well with the Mustang and with the custom body kit. It was alright. It was alright. Having another Need for Speed movie would be pretty interesting, I think. Wonder what they do with that though. Then again, they got what, like 10 Fast and the Furious movies, so you know, not too much issue. Yeah, our tires should last us a little while. There we go. Past the Nissan Z. Whee! Yeah, we are way ahead of the competition. We're fine. We're fine. It's 35 seconds behind. Wait, did he pit? I think he may have pitted. Either way. Yeah, I am liking this a lot. This is making this so much quicker. On other races, if it's kind of like this, on like test course, I might also use turbo, because as much as I genuinely love Gran Turismo 3, and it is my favorite Gran Turismo, I really hate just how much they use test course at the very end game. Like, holy moly. Bruh, test course gets used so many times in the career mode. Especially in the professional league. It is unreal. Thankfully, there's no endurance event on the test course. Thankfully. But like, this is literally like a 60-mile race. Oh, the Supra is leaving. Alright, 2 more laps. So this is probably going to be in about 2 minutes. Something like that. Oh, the Mina is skyline spitting. Yeah, our tires are still good. Our tires are still golden. Thankfully, the Mina and Skyline should be good for the other races. So we'll be fine there. We'll use that for the other 5 races eligible for in the professional league. And then we'll probably go back to the clear trophy car for the midship challenge next time I stream this game. And then what do we do after that? Probably another endurance event because we need to get... If it gets us, we need to get an open wheel car. We desperately need an open wheel car. We're steadily chomping through this, the professional league though. We got another one make race championship knocked out. Which is good. And we're making our way through the Turbo Challenge, the GTR 1 Make Race Series, and the Midship Challenge next time we stream the game. So that'll be even more races done. Downside is we do have quite a few championships left still. We have the Gran Turismo World Championship, the Japanese Grand Touring Championship, the Dream Car Championship, the Gran Turismo All-Stars Championship, the Polyphony Digital Championship, and the Formula Gran Turismo Championship. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 40, 47, 57, 60... 62 races alone there. But everything else... Oh, that's 10 races. Okay, so 57. 57 races. Yeah. 57 races. 60, 61, 62, 65... plus 3 endurance races. So 65 regular races and 3 endurance races. So we have, we got our work cut out for us, I think. But still, here tonight we finished 6th. So we got, you know, a little bit under 10% of that knocked out. So I think we can do this. I think we can do this. Let's get back in the Minas. And we will save the game. And then probably end the stream here. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the stream, please make sure you leave a like, subscribe. Let me know what I'm doing well in the comments down below. If you didn't like the stream, please let me know what I'm doing poorly so I can fix that in the future. With that being said, I've been Isaac Umbras, and wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is for you, may it be a great time. And I'll see you all in the next stream. Until then, take care everybody. Bye bye!